Alright y'all, Ignay here, and today we are going to go in and compare the golden crystal to the LB. So let's get right into it. Alrighty, also, like we said in the little intro, we're going to be comparing the golden crystal and the LB skill by skill to compare and contrast to see which is better. Before we get into that, as always, this video is sponsored by UPTO, where using my code IGNY2 can get you anywhere from 5 to 40% off all in-game purchases, and on the special days, up to 65% off all in-game purchases. That's using my code IGNY2. With the holidays here and everything, I know everybody's money is tight, but this is a great way for you guys to save some money so you can feed into your addiction while still being able to get into the Christmas spirit. So again, that's IGNY2. A full description will be down in the comments, or down in the description down below, of how to take full opportunity of this discount. All right, so we'll get right into it. So again, as always, we're going to be ignoring skill 1, 3, 4, and 6 on both ants, as these are always the same across all of the different ants. So we'll get right into it, and we'll compare them side by side. All right, so the golden crystal, its second skill has an 80% chance to deal 280% damage to a random enemy squad and increase its squad attack by 50% for 2 rounds. So that's good. So what it basically does is, not only is it a pretty high damage rate, it's also increasing the attack. So that means it progresses per round for how much damage you can do with the normal damage. So that's a pretty good little stack up there. All right, well, then we'll look at BLB. Has an 80% chance to launch 3 attacks against the enemy squad, each attack dealing 100% plus special level 1% damage. The third attack damage is guaranteed to double. It increases the dodge rate of its squad by 10% for 1 round. Okay, so right there, right off the bat, 3 attacks against enemy squad, 100%, 150 when you have special ant level. So that's 3 attacks at 150. That's 450 total damage, and then the third attack has a chance to double, meaning that the last attack has the ability to do 300% damage by itself. So that's a total of 800% damage that it will do with a very high proc rate, plus increasing the dodge rate by 10% for 1 round. Right off the bat, that you could see where that overpowers the golden crystal quite significantly, just in the attack alone and the damage. All right, we'll get into the next one for ELB. Prepares for 2 rounds and has an 80% chance to deal 750% plus special ant level times 2 damage to 2 enemy squads within effective range. So that's essentially 850 damage after 2 rounds. So essentially, this is only gonna hit twice in a fight, but that's still 850% damage twice. So 1900 damage for the fight. Compare that to the golden crystal, and prepared for 1 round. It has basically can trigger 4 times in a fight. Has an 80% chance to deal 200% plus special ant level times 1, so 250% damage to all enemy squads and poison them, dealing 150% damage per round. So essentially, overall, if it can trigger 4 times, you got 800% damage plus poison. Well, actually more than 800%. So 250 times 4, 1000% damage, and poison on top of it, which deals 150% damage. So that damage bleeds over to the prep rounds. So actually, on this particular skill, even though LB has the explosive power, the golden crystal is actually doing more damage on this particular skill than the LB overall. All right, and then we'll get into the next one. Carry and attack 43%. And on the LB, carrier attack 48%. So this one is higher than the golden crystal. And then last skill, prepares for 1 round, has an 80% chance to deal 230% damage plus special ant level times 1. So that'd be 280% damage to all enemy squads. Additionally, applying the following effect based on the target's soldier and type. Guardians increase damage taken by 25%. Shooters decrease normal attack damage dealt by 30%. Carriers decrease skill damage dealt by 40%. Affect lasts 1 round. So this is strong because especially like with what the meta is right now for shooters with the Dolly Weaver and Wise Berserker, which it basically focuses on stacking normal attack. Being able to reduce that helps a lot. And then Guardians too, because like the normal Guardian setup is really set up more to tank hits, and so increasing the damage that is taken by 25% is really good. And then, of course, like with carriers, if you're just facing like the same carrier lineup, you're just decreasing their skill damage. So the LB can be, only 60% as effective. But we'll compare that to the golden crystal, which with the golden crystal has 50% chance to deal 130. Plus special ant level times 1, so 180 damage to all enemy squads. If the target is poisoned, increases skill damage this time by 50%. So if you got 180, you're essentially going to be doing what, about an extra 90% damage. But it does have a low proc rate, and with its other skill, with it already poisoning, that does help. So essentially, when you're comparing the two, the LB has the overall explosive power. However, the golden crystal has a more consistent damage. So which is better? Really, they're both really, really good. Again, LB has more explosive damage, whereas the golden crystal is more constant, which actually makes them better to be played together. I don't really think that they should be played or used not in the same lineup. I think that kind of would defeat the purpose, because you have one that's a really high constant damage and then one that's an explosive that will just give you some insane overall hits. So which do I think is better? In this case, in the first time in my Versus series, I would say neither. They both have their benefits and they both have their downsides. Again, I think that they really need to be played in the same lineup, and I would never separate them. But overall, I think that they both have a pretty similar damage profile overall. Anyway, I hope this all helped y'all, and Egg News out. We'll see you in the next one.